We're here with Andie Biancone, and number one, the very first thing we need to get out of the way is the proper pronunciation of your top horses.
All right, so we have Ete Indien, or Ete Indien if you really want to be, French, and then you have Sole Volante.
Get into Sole Volante. Last year, your dad gave you this birthday gift, a 2-year-old, for your 22nd birthday, making you an owner for the first time. Could you have imagined, and did you let your mind go there, that things would be this good this quickly?
Never in a million years. I mean, that was the last thing I ever expected. I mean, I was at OBS with my dad actually, and we were at the sales together, and we literally, he saw his breeze, and he caught his eye right away. He was like, I like this horse. I was like, what? Who is this horse? And we saw him walk into the ring. He was, sweaty, washed out, skinny, crazy. And my dad was like, I love him. I was like, what? I was like, Dad, this is such a bad idea. I was like, let's not. And he said if he could get him for 25, he'd be happy. And we got him for 20, so.
Now, did you know at the time that this was something he was going to be giving to you?
No.
You just thought this was a normal, we're looking at horses for the future of the stable?
Yes. And
so when did he reveal to you that this was a present?
Just a couple days later, he was like, you know what, I'm going to give him to you for your birthday. And I was like,
but based on your initial reaction to the horse, were you happy with that?
I was like, Dad, you don't have to, that's so nice. But, and this horse, he was just, because he had, his problem was his testicles were twisted, so they were causing him a lot of pain and discomfort. We bought him from a really small co-signer, who is a super good horseman, but this was his only horse in the sale, I think, and when he came to us, he was absolutely crazy. You could barely go in the stall with him, barely walk him, and it's literally because he was in so much pain from his testicles being twisted. So that's why we had to geld him. And as soon as we gelded him, he just, day and night, just became the sweetest horse. He's the sweetest horse in the barn by far. And it's actually really funny because he's the polar opposite of Ete Indien.
Oh, how so?
Polar in every way. Just, not only in their running styles, Ete Indien is more of a front runner, all speed, and Sole Volante's got a lot of stamina and comes from behind. But just their personalities, Ete Indien is all boy, all man, very tough, really macho, true colt. And Sole Volante is just a little mush ball. He's a sweetheart. You could park him in the middle of the street with a shank over his neck. He'd stand there. Even before he breezes or anything, he'll stand in the chute. You could have his you could hold the buckle on the reins, and he'd just be so happy as a clam. My favorite part about training horses and working with horses is just seeing how they develop and change. And this horse has just did a 180 since we've had him. Even I think he always has had kind of self-esteem things, not the most confident guy. He used to kind of be spooky a little bit, and now he's just so calm, so cool, so collected. He's so sure of himself, and his confidence just radiates, and I love seeing that. I love seeing how happy he is, And anytime, whoever's on him, whether it's Luca or Florent or Jimmy or the guy who rides him here, literally they have the biggest smile on their face when we pull up, and I was like, was it good?
Feel it.
Yeah, I was like, was it good? And they're always like, oh my gosh. I'm like, I know.
Let's take a few steps into the future. The horse does very well and ends up in the gate for the Kentucky Derby or along the Triple Crown Series. Do you allow your mind to go there?
Of course, it's exciting and it's all amazing, but the reality is I try not to think about it. I don't want to get too excited. I don't want to get overly confident, overly cocky. This game will humble you in so many ways, and it's really important just to keep level. I think he has to keep improving. If we're going to take him to that level, he has to keep improving. At the same time, I feel like he's such a versatile horse. If he didn't go to the Derby, it wouldn't be the end of the day. I'd be so happy to have a super nice turf horse for the end of the summer, or I feel like the options are endless. So I try not to get my heart so set on the Derby. I'd be happy. I feel like he's already accomplished a lot, and we never expected him to. Maybe my dad did all along, deep down. Maybe he always went. I just heck no, I did. I've always been involved, I mean, even when I was in high school and middle school, I'd come on the weekends, and my sister Marie trained for a little bit, and I was always with her, like when she was in California. And I don't know, when I moved to Florida, because we were initially from California, and we moved to Florida 3 years ago. And I went with him because I was like, nothing makes me happier than working with the horses, and I want to be there with my dad as he embarks on this journey. Plus, I had in mind, that I could transfer to University of Florida. That's been like my dream school for a long time. So
you enrolled at the University of Florida?
Yes. Well, I actually went to community college here for 2 years.
Okay.
And I did that and galloped for my dad at the same time. And then I applied, and then I got accepted. And
okay.
Yeah.
So now have you gone through a few years already?
1 year.
1 year.
Yeah.
Right.
So I
And
completed.
What was the intended major?
Animal sciences.
Okay.
I was kind of like thinking about being a vet, but organic chemistry changed my mind real quick.
It does for a lot of people.
Yeah, they were like, Andie, keep trying. It's a weed out class. I was like, I've been weeded. I'm not cut out for this.
Okay, so do you plan to finish your degree, or are you going to give this a go first and see what happens? What's in your mind there?
I'd really like to complete my degree just because I worked really hard to get to that school, and it is really important to me. It's a great school. It's full of opportunities, and I've had, even when I was up there, I was galloping on a farm, and it was great just to work with babies and 2-year-olds. So I don't know, I would like to go back, but at the same time, like, my family is the most important thing, and being there for my dad, and being, this is our business that we've grown together, and that's my main priority. When I was kind of trying to make my decision between like training and being a vet, he literally sat me down. He was like, you think being a vet is hard, being a trainer is 10 times harder. And I was like, no, I want to train. And since that day, he's actually been super supportive.
Never ever.
He's hard on me, and that's actually one thing that I like about him. Like, he's literally put me on a van to Kentucky Downs, like 17 hours, peed in a cup 8 times. Like, you know what I mean? He sent me to Saratoga with 2 horses, with Diamond Dupes and Kelsey's Cross. I had no hot walker, no groom, and I had to gallop them. So that was pretty, he's not afraid to make me work, but that's something that I love about him.
Does he treat you differently than he treats the other employees?
I feel like he makes me work harder. Yeah. But I like it, I love that, even though I'm a girl, like, he doesn't give me, like, he treats me as a boy, which I like, because, women's rights were equal, so.